Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Josie's Point of View, where we focus on human interest stories from the Carolinas and beyond. Today's Sunday, and it's November the 2nd, 2025. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new to my channel, I want to thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you find the information here to be informative. And if you're a returning viewer, by all means, thank you for coming back. You know, I always say the tide changes so frequently here on these YouTube streets. So you always have to acknowledge where your support comes from. And I want you to know I sincerely thank you for your support. So feel free to like and to share this video. And don't forget to subscribe. And our story today is coming out of the Marine Corps base here in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. Take a look at the headline. And it reads, one Marine charged with child sex crimes, another dies in a road rage incident. I'll provide you with a summary here, and as always, I'll place links to a few of the full articles in the description box. Well, it's been a few months at least since we've had a Camp Lejeune update, and it's no good news today, so let's go ahead and get right into it. And the first case was a report that the FBI had arrested a United States Marine from Camp Lejeune and charged him with the kidnapping and sexual assault of a 12-year-old child from Indiana, and the date of this reporting was October the 30th, 2025, just a few days ago. And the focus of the story today is on this man, this Marine, 24-year-old Corporal William Richard Roy, assigned to Camp Lejeune. His specific unit of assignment has not been released, but that does not limit us from sharing the story. You see, Corporal Roy is facing some very serious child sex-related charges, and if he's convicted on any of them, it could result in him spending a significant amount of his time behind bars. Now, this all started when the FBI office in Maryville received information from local police. You see, a tip from the Hammond police station had revealed that a missing 12-year-old child was believed to be traveling with William Roy, who was from another state. Police say the child's grandmother had reported her missing earlier in the day, and under the belief that she was with Roy, authorities then set out to track his whereabouts. It was discovered that Roy had flown from North Carolina to Indiana before meeting up with the girl at a park in Hammond. Then they took an Uber and they spent the night at a hotel in the area before taking the Greyhound bus and continued their journey back to North Carolina. So he went up there, spent the night in a hotel, then was on his way back home. I wonder why he decided to take that Greyhound back. He probably ran out of money because he flew out there. That night they both stayed in a hotel. I'm sure that cost a bit of money. He had to pay for food. You had that Uber ride. So on the way back, funds were probably low because he have to now is financing a return trip for two people. And he really doesn't make that much money as a corporal. So maybe that's why he decided to use the Greyhound, and that was a long ride. I did my research, and it says from Hammond to near Research Triangle, which is in Raleigh. That's about 25 hours. That's a long time to be on a Greyhound bus. So by the time he got here to Raleigh, they were both probably exhausted. So with the coordination of law enforcement agencies from several states, they were tracking him, and they were waiting for him when that Greyhound bus arrived in Raleigh on Sunday. Roy was immediately taken into custody by the FBI, and the 12-year-old child was safely rescued. So now he's facing the following charges: enticement of a minor to travel for illicit sexual activity, transportation of a minor to engage in illicit sexual activity, and interstate travel with intent to engage in a sexual act with a minor. I'm sure there are other charges because of this child is 12 years old. They don't want to come out and make it public. But the key is, I didn't see any information on bond. So he's probably still locked up. We probably won't even get bond. And if he's convicted on any of these charges, he's going away for a very, very long time. Stupid mistake, but you committed the crimes, you're going to have to pay the time. And let's move right on into the next case, which is a bit emotional for me. It addresses the tragic death of a well-respected Camp Lejeune Marine, and the circumstances surrounding his death are so senseless it's beyond comprehension. And it makes you wonder whether society today has changed so much that we as citizens of our state no longer have a desire to coexist with others or to demonstrate common decency even towards people we may not know. So let me set the stage for you. It was November the 19th, 2025. A young Marine and father of two was simply enjoying a Sunday afternoon on his newly acquired motorbike, a bike he hoped to ride with his sons one day. Now, he had just gotten a haircut and he was heading home when he encountered an angry motorist, a man who was driving a car on the interstate. Now, it's very possible that words may have been exchanged. We're not exactly sure. But what we do know is the driver of that car slowed the car on that North Carolina highway, pulled out a handgun, and fired one fatal shot, hitting the motorcyclist in the chest. The driver then sped away from the scene. Now, according to reports, the Onslow County Police say that around 1:30 p.m. that Sunday, October the 19th, they responded to a report of a shooting at that specific intersection in the city. And when they arrived, they found a young man who was suffering from a gunshot wound to the chest. They determined that he was an active duty service member and he was transported to the Navy Medical Center Camp Lejeune, which is located nearby in Jacksonville, North Carolina. Unfortunately, his injuries were quite severe and he did not survive. He was pronounced deceased at the hospital. Now, that motorist, the coward who fired that fatal shot, well, he fled the scene, but they were able to track him down later that day, and he was taken into custody by Onslow County police officers. He was identified as 43-year-old James Wells of Maple Hill. He was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. Now, he was initially held in Onslow County Detention Center without bond, but a few days later, at his first bond hearing, he was assigned a bond of $500,000. The deceased service member was identified as 31-year-old Marine Staff Sergeant Dylan Rasmussen, a combat instructor assigned to the School of Infantry at Camp Lejeune. I don't know a lot about him or his military background, but I read that he's from California, that is home of record, and that he's married and the father of two young boys. Officials say Staff Sergeant Rasmussen, a native of California, was recognized by the Commandant of the Marine Corps in January as one of the Corps' top combat instructors, whose service was distinguished by two Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal and a Navy Marine Corps Commendation Medal. And Camp Lejeune did issue a formal statement acknowledging the passing of one of their favorite sons. And here's the statement right here, and I've included the entire statement here for you. It says, Staff Sergeant Dylan Rasmussen exemplified the very best of our Corps with unwavering dedication to developing the next generation of Marines. His leadership as a combat instructor left an indelible mark on those he trained, and his service was a testament to the highest standard of excellence. While his loss is a profound sorrow, his legacy will continue to inspire those who follow in his footsteps. And that's from Brigadier General Michael Brooks, the Commanding General of the Training Command. And I found his information in the Gun Violence Archives, which is from Washington, D.C., and they track statistics for everyone who dies by gun violence throughout the United States. And here's the information that's currently there. They talk about his death October the 19th, 2025 in Jacksonville, North Carolina, and it gives some gun sources, and at that time 333 candles had been lit for him. But his name will permanently, or that this information will permanently be listed on the Gun Violence Archives. I have to tell you, this is just so tragic and so senseless that the words are difficult to come by. This service member simply went out for a haircut and never came home. Oh my gosh, this is not a war. We are at peace. The question is why? When did we become so cruel as a society that we find it easier to shoot and kill an unarmed man rather than simply drive away in our car? It makes no sense at all. And the district attorney has spoken out on this case, saying he has never seen anything like this before in our area. I did take a few minutes to look at his obituary. It's very brief, and one of the things I saw was that the funeral was going to be private, and that's a family's personal choice. So it's one that must be respected. You know, we tend to feel that when a service member dies, they have been part of our family, so we want to be able to share it with other service members. But this family has made the choice that this would be private and it should be respected. Now, but I do want to send my condolences to the family and friends of the deceased, not just his family by blood, but also his Marine Corps family, who I'm sure are just as devastated by his loss. Now, I did see that there was a GoFundMe set up. I don't endorse GoFundMe, but I want to acknowledge it, and I want to include the organizer, because that individual has stated that all the funds from this GoFundMe will go towards Staff Sergeant Rasmussen's family, and particularly his children. And I hope that's exactly what happened. So if you're interested, all you have to do is Google the name and you'll be taken directly to the site. And so another brave warrior has completed his journey. We may not understand the circumstances surrounding his passing, but we must believe that this was part that he was destined to follow. So, Staff Sergeant Dylan Rasmussen, your mission is finally completed. So, rest well, my friend, and thank you for your service. And that's all I have for you right now, but feel free to leave me a comment below and let me know what you think about this video. And by all means, feel free to like it and to share it. And if you haven't done so already, I want to invite you to subscribe to my channel by clicking on that red subscribe button. It's on the bottom right hand corner of your screen. And if you click on the bell that looks like just like this one, that's the notification bell. If you click on that notification bell, you'll be the first to know whenever a new video is uploaded. I thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.